Mecca. And then the white man was in Mecca. And I remember what Malcolm said. But knowing Malcolm, I knew Malcolm lied to us. It was because he was trying to live in that moment. Because Malcolm had been to the Sudan and Turkey and all those places as early as 1959, 1957. So none of that stuff was new to him. Most of you don't know the Honorable Elijah Muhammad made the Hajj to Mecca in 1957 and decided, I'm not bringing that shit back to my people.
That's right.
Okay? We used to call it getting drunk off of Arabian Punch back in the day, for those who back then remember. So what I'm trying to say is that the earth, our culture, is not something we made up. See, this is the key. I was looking at something on Dr. Clark on the internet the other day. Dr. Clark says, all the religions you got was made up. The only one that wasn't made up was ours. Now why? People say, well, we created those things. No. We simply tried to imitate ecology and cosmology. That's what we were doing. We were imitating nature, imitating the cosmology, imitating the ecology. We weren't trying to create nothing new. We said, what is. Let's learn how to stay in harmony and rhythm with it. They came and couldn't comprehend that and decided to take little bits and pieces of it and create a facsimile of it. They couldn't even create a clone because they didn't know enough. So they created a facsimile of your natural essence. And you all have heard me say this before to try to bring it down to earth. Everybody in this room ate either breakfast, lunch, or something today. But nobody ate another human being to replace the human cells that died, did you? No, you ate everything else out of nature. Vegetables, fruits, meats, seeds, berries, etc. Because you are all of nature, and all of nature is you. See, that's the culture. I did a lecture, and this is what Dessalines and Defile and the other sister, the chief priestess who was there, Fatima, Sister Fatima, they understood that they were, the reason they could go into an alligator swamp and plan this, because they were cool with the alligator. That was their brother and sister. The alligator wasn't gonna mess with them because the alligator knew they weren't gonna mess with them.
Right.
So they could go in the alligator swamp. White man couldn't come in the alligator swamp because he was an enemy to the alligator. So the alligator was an enemy to them. So the alligator understood when those people came, that these are brothers and sisters, they come here because they're under duress. They need a place to have refuge from the enemy to resolve the contradiction they got to face. The alligators understood it because the people understood the alligators.
Let me add something to that real quick. And I don't want y'all to think that this is something way in the past, this allegory.
No.
The alligator thing is still true today in Paga, in Ghana, the northern part of Ghana. That it was Paga, I was there. We were there, and what happens is that the kids go swim in the pond with the alligators because they have a relationship with them. They've been doing it for hundreds of years, and so the alligators have a relationship with them. That they there's a whole statement about this. I did this documentary with them that they don't bother the alligators don't bother them. And to this day, if you go to Paga, they'll take you and they'll let you feed an alligator, and the alligators sit there in the parks, the pond with the kids, and the kids don't bother the alligators don't bother them. When you see it, you might be scared, but
But
that's
some of us,
well, yeah.
bold and bodacious, like the grandson of Professor Small, who's this high, we got a picture of him holding the tail of the alligator. My heart just...
Me too, I did the same thing. I sat on the back of the alligator while I was there.
So when you saw this piece, because this movie, this documentary, it didn't just pop up. You know, I spoke with Tariq yesterday. He was in Dubai on his way back from Zimbabwe. And he was telling me, Brother Small, I should have come to Zimbabwe 30 years ago. He said, I've never met a place where African love Africans so completely. You know? And I raised Tariq because the spirits raised Tariq. None of us, with all of the skills and my teacher, Dr. Jeffries, and all the things he's taught me, and all of the things he's done in the 60 plus years he's been out here doing this, none of us had that technology or that hookup that the spirits gave to Tariq. And so Tariq, some people was telling me, well, why y'all doing anything with him? He wrote those bad books. Well, Malcolm sold drugs, you know? But the Spirit transformed Malcolm and gave him a job to do, a message to bring. And so here, this young man, and when this thing happened, I'm going to come to this thing, come back to where we at. With him and Omar, I called both of them. I haven't heard from Omar yet, but I've heard from Tariq 3 times. Omar. And I said to him, brother, you have been blessed to be a messenger to your people. Why would you defame the blessing? Why would you defame the blessing with anger and vile words and a behavior that's unbecoming of the worst of us? When you're trying to tell the people, listen to me because I'm the best of us. And I think he's listening. I'm not the only one. When Dr. Patricia Newton called him and said, Tariq, stop it. You know, he stopped it. And we're trying to get him to clean himself up, even on those radio shows he's doing. He said, because people have to grow. But something in our culture brought us this young man to give us this instrument called Hidden Colors that has been an extraordinary teaching tool, and nobody can say that. And so when we think of one another, none of us are perfect. There's so much damage. So we have to take the best of that aspect of us and have it override the damaged aspect of us as best we can. And the best way to do that is to learn your history and culture. That's the best medicine there is to study your history and culture. Start with your mama and your daddy. You know, one may say, well, daddy was a drunk. Then find out why daddy was a drunk. You understand? Find out why that man that loved you so much that he did all those things for you, drank every Friday night, stayed drunk till Sunday night, and went to work to take care of you on Monday morning to stay sober till Friday evening. Why? What set upon him and injured him such that he behaved in that way, and yet could for 5 days not touch any liquor, for 5 days work himself to the bones. Then you'll begin to see what African essence and culture was, because we never lost our culture. We hid it best we can. So I did a lecture. I was rushing today because I was with my grandbaby who's been very sick. And I've been going back and forth. I had to rush her to the emergency room 3 times in 1 week. You know, so I stayed until her mother came so I could get here. But that's why I'm wearing what I'm wearing. I didn't have time. I started to go upstairs and change. I said, but that's going to take 30 minutes, and I need to get to New Jersey. So I'm wearing a shirt that said Godfather. Now, my daughter ordered this shirt for me, and the shirt was supposed to say grandfather. She used the symbol, you know, from the Godfather movie, but from the book, she ordered it, and this was supposed to say, it was for my Kwanzaa gift. It was supposed to say grandfather. But I think the gods got it right. In my family, I'm the Godfather. But I did a lecture on Saturday, I think, at Simultech. And the Spirit gave me this wisdom about 3 months ago. I'm in Atlanta. I have some beautiful aleques. Y'all singing my aleques? I'm like, whoa. I'm vain about the aleques, you know. And I had a sister, Paul's wife, had them made for me in Brazil. And I'm in a lecture in Atlanta that had nothing to do with aleques. They wanted me to come up there and talk about economics and something, and opening the store. The sister was opening this big green food market. But the Spirit said, that's not what you're supposed to say. And for the first time in my life, this thing came to me. Why we created the aleques in the first place. what do they mean? And it just flowed like water. And I know I'm right. It is the code system that we use to hide our wisdom system because we had no other way to express it that they hadn't blocked. They had blocked our meeting place. They had blocked us speaking our language. They had blocked us singing our songs. They had blocked us doing our dance. They had blocked us using our drums. They had even separated if it looked like we loving each other too much. They broke us up. So we had to find a way to exist and to know that we exist and could relate to that existence in a code system that he couldn't perceive. And he even bought the beads for us. Like we giving the Negroes some trinkets. They just love them beads. The beads and the colors representing an encoding of the African wisdom system. Each one of the colors represent an aspect of a force in nature. Each bead itself represents a force in nature, which then have multiple other forces emanating from the major force in nature. So when one thinks of an Orisha, and we say, oh, Oya is the wind. But Oya is also, the wind is a demonstration in nature of the process of change in process. You see, that happens in the human mind. And so we take the idea, philosophically, of change being a necessary component to transform oneself. And we encode it in a bead that he thinks is trinkets. But we understand it is our wisdom retention that he don't get. And it has been exposing itself to me in even greater depth. And when I first saw it, I was up, you're up there talking, you don't know what you're talking about, and then you wonder, oh shoot, did I say some stuff that I said here that I just kind of tripped on? But I didn't trip, because they come to you, They even come, they come to you in your dreams. And I remember when I was in medical system, I had just gotten there, I just gotten to Jeddah. And I just gotten to Jeddah in Saudi Arabia back in '74. And I was in Mecca. I was going to find Malcolm. I was even believing Malcolm wasn't even killed, that it was actually a double that got killed. Malcolm was hiding that down there. I was going to find him. And I was tripping, right? And so I'm standing under this shed. And these stories that we tell, Doc tell them all the time. And I noticed Baba Kalpana, the young one, is beginning to tell them. These are anecdotes when we encounter spirit. So I'm standing under the shed with Rodnell Collins, Malcolm's nephew. They had just seized our passports because they had not seen a black Muslim from America. So when we went with our passport, the people took it, they wanted to see, and our passport just went. Thousands of people just passing it around. So the intelligence and the army said, oh, we'll find your passport. It'll take us a bit, but they did find it in 2 days and give us our passports back. But people wanted to see this phenomena, this black Muslim from America. So while we were waiting there, the extra days in Jeddah before going to Mecca, on our passport, we were standing under the shed and we were drinking a couple of bottles of the poison we call Coca-Cola, but we didn't know it was poison back then. And 3 old men come out of the desert. They were wearing white. They had to be at least 80 or so. And there was a small one that was a little frail, and then there was a kind of a heavier one, and then there was a taller one who was stocky. And I'm there minding my business. And he came up to me and he put his face, sister, right up to my face like this, and I felt him looking through my eyes into my brain. I knew it. And then he said, and he backed away. And I was saying, oh, shoot, what is this about, right? The other 2 just standing there like nothing happened. Roddy is standing over there drinking Coca-Cola like he don't even see them. And the guy comes back up to my face again, and he looks in my eyes, and then he says, and he backs away. So when he comes the 3rd time, I stuck my hand out. And I said, excuse me, sir. And he jumps. And in a very broken English, he says, are you from Nigeria? I said, no, I'm from Harlem, because I was scared to death. So I figured if I say Harlem, I got a nerve, you know what I'm saying? I'm from Harlem, man. So, and he looked at me again, and then he stuck his hands out, he says, "You're gonna be a great man one day." And my knees got weak, because that scared me. I don't know, what is this about? This dude don't know me. I just got off a plane, all right? And he said, the second time, "You're gonna be a great man with this." So I grabbed his wrist and say, "Sir, why are you saying this?" And he pulled out of my grasp like I had no strength. That's what scared me, because I know I was strong. I was lifting them weights, you know what I'm saying? I was in the dojo. I was the man, right? And this old man pulled out of my grasp like I had no strength at all. And so, you know what I did with black people? I stopped begging. I said, "Sir, please." I went to the please, right? "Why are you doing this to me?" And he said to me, before he walked away, he said, "When we are ready for you, we'll come to you in your dreams." And I'm going like, okay. And then he joined the other two, and the three of them walked